6 different ones, which is so cool. 6 different varieties, 6 plants. They come in a 2.5-inch pot. Final quantities here. These will either ship now, or if you prefer them to ship May 24th, you do have that opportunity. If you want them to ship now, 350 remain, and then that's closed. And shipping May 24th, fewer than 200. Take a look, stop what you're doing and come take a look at these. 3 easy pays at $15.79 will help you work these into your budget. And there you can see in the container, in a ground, border. All right, Jim, this to me represents what you have been talking about this entire hour. This whole idea of Hort Couture bringing us plants that we recognize, but on a whole different level. These are the most gorgeous Coleus I've ever seen in my life. Oh, look at that red snapper.
Yeah, the under the sea Coleus are really what Hort Couture is known for. This is kind of what, if in the world of plants and having any fame, our Coleus are really popular varieties because they are such an anomaly, so different than anything that's ever existed in Coleus. And there's a couple of things about them that I'll tell you right up front that make them so unique. Is that I don't know if there's a plant that you can be any more successful with than this. I've made this joke with other hosts, is that Carolyn Gracie, the first time we ever showed these 2 years ago, asked me, you know, where do you grow this? And I was telling her all the places you can grow it, and she was like, wow, you can grow it anywhere. And I said, well, I don't think you want to put it in a dark closet. I don't think it'll grow in your closet, but besides that, I think you can grow it anywhere. So under the sea Coleus are for sun or shade. Traditionally, older varieties of Coleus were really a shade plant, but these all have tremendous sun tolerance and heat tolerance. We've done a lot of trialing with these in university trials in places like the University of Florida, University of Georgia, places where plants really go through pretty brutal summers. This will grow in average soil. This will grow in great soil. One of the trends we're seeing with Coleus is a lot of people are now buying Coleus and putting them in their pots or having them on their patio through the summer, and then bringing them into the house as a house plant because they make a very easy to grow house plant, and you can actually, you know, break a little piece off and stick it in the water if the plant does get a little, you know, rough looking. But these varieties can be in sun, shade, bad soil, good soil, inside, outside. You're just not going to do anything that's ever going to make these plants just not be gorgeous. And what makes Under the Sea different is that I'll try to get a leaf here and see if I can show it to the, I don't know if you can see, but they have these little secondary leaves that surround each leaf. And so this is what the anomaly was that was first found in Under the Sea Coleus. And this one is called fishnet, that has these beautiful, you know, like purple black ink veins against this chartreuse leaf. It's just so beautiful. But with these Coleus is that they all look like sea critters, and they're so different. The bonefish and the red snapper and the other one here on the table with me is the king crab, these big red leaves with those little frilly pie crust edges. And they're exactly what Hort Couture wants to be. They are sophisticated, they're fashionable, and they're easy to grow. And that is the hallmark of what we look for in every variety we bring here to QVC, every variety we bring to the market anywhere, is that those things happen. The one you're holding there now is bonefish. You can see that it almost looks like a little skeletal center of a fish.
Absolutely.
That's actually our #1 selling variety. It's actually almost like a little flat trailing variety. It does beautiful in mixed containers. But all 6 varieties you're getting are unique. You're not going to find these anywhere else in a collection like these. We're going to ship them in that clamshell, so they're going to show up perfect at your house. And you can take these and put them anywhere except your closet, and you're going to do great with them.
And these take off pretty fast, don't they, Jim?
I go back to one of the things I've been really proud here at QVC is that we try to really show the real plant. We are determined in every 1 hour show or every 7-minute spot we do that we're actually showing people what the plant really looks like. And again, these plants are about 10 or 11 weeks old that I have here. The plants you have there are about 4 or 5 weeks old. They're tremendously vigorous when they're young. They're like kids. When Coleus are young, they grow like wildfire, and then they slow down and start spreading out like all of us have. But they're super easy. They are just going to be something that's going to show up. You're going to put these in pots, whatever you decide to do with them, and they're just going to take off and continue to grow. And the quality of what we're shipping on this, again, and the quality of how it's showing up because of the clamshell, I think makes what we're doing really revolutionary and really different, and I couldn't be any prouder.
Well, you'll get 6 plants. They're in a 2.5-inch pot. There'll be 6 different varieties for you. They come in the clamshell packing. You will get really great instructions with pictures and guidance that you will hold on to. There you can see the pictures of the different varieties that you're going to get. Jim, this is something that I took probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago at a local garden center, because I live in New Jersey, so we have lots of wonderful garden centers. And they had this wonderful woman come in who was a teacher, and I never really thought to put something like this in a pot. And so I found that these are my go-to for big pots, because they really do. They can be a thriller. They can be off to the, to the back of the pot, and you can, plant other annuals around them. But I have been able to keep them year after year. I know it says this is an annual. Is that possible depending on where we live, or do we need to bring them in, or how does that work?
They certainly are an annual flower, because if they were to receive any temperatures below 35 degrees or something like that, they wouldn't live. But if you bring these in the fall before you have any kind of frost, treat them as a house plant, pot them up into some bigger pots and bring them back out in the spring, you can keep these for years. And there are lots of Coleus collectors all over the world that have had plants that they've had for decades. But this is, again, what you said about this bringing style to your pots. You put this with some petunias or anything you put this with, this is going to make that pot look lush, overflowing, full. It can be a great thriller for the center of the pot. They can be great kind of fillers for the edge of the pot, like you mentioned, to move them back more to the background to create a background for those petunias or other flowers you're putting in the pots. And this is just such easy plant material. These are so sophisticated looking. I know that everyone who gets them loves them. This is pretty much sold out every time we've ever showed it on QVC. And yeah,
well, we are now
one of my
down
favorites.
To the final quantities. 6,500 is what we had in February. Final quantities, if you want it shipped now, 300 remain. If you want it shipped May 24th, fewer than 200 remain. So please do stay on the line. I pulled mine into the garage, and then I just have to remember to give them a drink. That's how I got mine.